Hi, I'm Aaron Suttles, Director of Content for Yay, Alabama, and it's official. School is back in session here at the University of Alabama at the Capstone, and student athletes are running all over campus practicing for their respective sports. We got a thrill tonight, especially for me. I've been wanting to get this guy on half-hour huddle since we started this show. It's Mark Sears. He'll join us here in a second, but I'll tell you why I've been excited. A couple reasons to get Mark on the program, but we finally were able to lock him in. I'm really excited about that. Alabama obviously hosting its first football game of the season on Saturday at 6:30 against Middle Tennessee State there at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Hey, do us a favor. If you see any Yay Alabama merch out in the wild, snap a picture and send it to us. We'd love to see Alabama fans wearing some of those slick polos that we've put out from Holderness and Bourne, or the hats we've put out, or the lapel pins, anything, or T-shirts, anything that you've seen out around campus as you're tailgating. Send us a picture, tag us in it, make sure. Who knows? Maybe we give away some swag at that. Also, make sure you're following us on all our social media channels. If you have been, you'll see not long ago we just announced a student membership drive, and we have a contest going on for our student memberships. So we're doing a giveaway on social media, and you go to Yay_Alla. That's Yay_Alla on Twitter. You can read all about the details. But basically, if you're an active student now through Labor Day, and you comment or tag or join, let me start over. If you're an active student now through Labor Day and you join, you get an entry into a pretty sweet Yay Alabama hat. There's a picture of it on Twitter. Go check that out. And if you also comment us or tag something that you see out in the wild, you'll get an extra entry. So make sure you're checking the merch page to see what you're going to get. We're excited about growing Yay Alabama for the benefit of our student athletes. And without further ado, one of the student athletes joining us is Alabama guard Mark Sears. First season was last year, was a special season for Alabama. He came and he fit onto that team like he had been there for 4 or 5 years. It was just a natural fit with Mark. And Mark, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So Mark is from the 256. That's where I'm from, and he's from the big city of Muscle Shoals, and I'm from Leeton. And so when I heard we were getting a Shoals kid, I was over the moon, because that's the part of the state that I'm from and that I represent, and I was really excited. I had no idea Mark would be that good, because obviously he was talented, but man, like as I mentioned in the intro, Mark, you came in and you just assimilated to the team very naturally. Was it as easy as you made it look, or how much work was put into that? Because I mean, it was like you'd been there forever.
I had to put in lots of work, going 2 times a day, and that's including with the practice in. So trying to just work around practice, going before practice and then after practice. So, it took a lot of hard work.
All right. So obviously you're from the state. You left the state to play. When did you realize that Alabama was interested, and that was it a hard decision to come back home?
I realized when, I was at Ohio, after my prep school year at Hargrave Military Academy. I went to Ohio because my former coach was there. And, I stayed at Ohio for 2 years. And when I got in the transfer portal, Alabama was the first school to reach out to me. And, I knew in the back of my head that I wanted to be here.
What was your thought process? Because obviously you were a given entity. You knew the success that you had at Ohio. Obviously, you have confidence in yourself and that you believe that you could play at this level. But you knew what you were going to do. Was there any doubts in your mind about stepping out, about what your role might be at Alabama? Obviously, Coach Oates and staff had told you what they envisioned your role to be, but you got to go out and earn it. How difficult was that decision to leave something that you had established at Ohio?
It was something very difficult because, I love being down in Ohio. They embraced me for who I was, but it was a big adjustment coming down here because I was playing with a lot of great players and I was surrounded by great people around me, and that really helped and mold my game to what it is.
All right, so this time every year we always see, or you guys have already done it, but we see all these pictures of you guys in the team retreat that you guys go through, and it looks like it's a lot of work and you get dirty. Tell us a little bit about the retreat.
Oh, man. All right, so we leave, we go get on the bus like 10 a.m. and then it takes like an hour and some change to get there. So we get there and, the military guy's like, all right, in the next 30 seconds, you're gonna do some very uncomfortable things. I'm gonna give y'all 10 seconds to get out the bus. So everybody just started sprinting out the bus, and they sprayed us with a water hose, and it was extremely hot, and we had to find ourselves from where we was at to the cabin where we were staying, and it took about I'd say 25, 30 minutes to find it.
What is obviously the purpose of a trip like that is to build toughness and build some camaraderie amongst the team. I would imagine an environment like that bonds really get made, especially with new guys coming in.
Oh yeah, it was a lot of great bonding, team bonding, coach and players bonding as well. We just we wasn't on our phones really throughout the whole trip, so we really had no choice but to get to know one another better.
All right, so school has started back. Obviously, this isn't your first time around the block. What's the challenges when, obviously, because you've had the summer and you've you've had some responsibilities, but you have a lot more free time. Then you got to lock in. What's the challenges when school starts back to being a student athlete?
I say one of the challenges is that your free time's over, because once the summer's over, you're back on a schedule from, I'd say, 8 a.m. to probably 5 p.m. and that's every day. So just getting back into your normal routine.
All right. Well, the Yay Alabama subscribers have filtered in some questions for us. Let's get to some of those. But first, if you see the link beneath the video, if you want to comment, you can comment and get any questions into Mark as we go. But we're going to take a pre-submitted question now. Ben wants to know, what's your favorite moment from last season?
I say my favorite moment from last season was probably the Auburn game. When we played at Coleman for the SEC the tournament. For the championship, and we was down. I want to say 17.
17, yeah.
And we had came all the way back and went into like double overtime. I'd say. And then after we won, and it was just so loud, and everybody was intense. When I was on the court, and just look, everybody standing up, and it was a lot of energy in Coleman that night. So that's about.
It's funny you mentioned that game. I think it stands out to a lot of people because you guys, as you mentioned, cut down the nets that night, won the SEC regular season. You had the huge comeback over your rival. But one thing that I remember about that game, and it's sort of what I love about you, is either you guys were tied or you're up 2, and you came down and you were sort of by yourself, and you had an open 3 there on the sort of the left wing at the top. And I've never seen a ball go further down and then bounce out. And I could not believe it went that far down and bounced out. But I love that about your game, how you're sort of fearless. Do you remember that? Do you remember that shot?
Yeah, I definitely remember. That's a shot I practice every day. And I seen it was just wide open. I just had the confidence out the roof, and I just felt like it was going in. And once I seen it roll in, and now I was shook myself.
I mean, I think everybody in the building started cheering because that thing, if you haven't seen the play, go back and watch it. It's up on YouTube. But that thing was 3/4 of the way down before it bounced out. So a bad bounce for Mark. Yeah. Hey, let's grab another question here. This one coming from Richard. What did you learn by putting your name in the NBA draft, and what skills did you work on this summer?
I learned a lot about putting my name in the draft. I was able to go out, and NBA teams were able to fly me out and work me out, and I got to tour their facilities, and I got to talk to their front offices, and it was really a great experience, because I got to learn really what it takes to be a pro and how the pros handle their body to be able to stay a long time in the league.
It's when you go through that process, do they nitpick every little thing? Is that you feel like is that part of the process? Is like they're doing their jobs of like letting you know every little thing that could be viewed as from the detractors?
Yeah, so they'll do that after you play. Like it starts off like you have to be at the gym at 7 a.m. They'll feed you breakfast, and then 8 a.m. you gotta go see the trainers to make sure you're ready to go, taped and ready to play. And they do like all these tests and movements to like get your scores, and they compare it against everybody that you're going with. So, we was in there. We probably worked out for like a good hour and a half on the court for an hour and a half. And they just really just putting us through drills, shooting drills, playing against each other, and they really wanted to make us tired, and they did that because it was very tiring after that day was over with.
Yeah. How beneficial is Coach Oates' system, and how much you guys run in stress, being in condition, and how much does that help prepare you for that process?
It really helped me prepare me because everything that the NBA teams were doing in their skill sessions, we pretty much did exactly the same thing. So I felt very prepared when I went into those NBA draft workouts.
All right. So for those who don't know, Coach Oates has this drill, and you can fill me in on the particulars. I have the general overview, but you guys, he puts, what is it, 10 minutes, 9 minutes on the clock, and you guys have to make a certain amount of threes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he puts 2 minutes on the clock, and
2 minutes.
We have to make 2 threes in a row to move to the next spot. And so it's 5 spots, and you got to make it around and back in 2 minutes.
Man, so what's the fastest you've ever done it? Do you remember?
We do it like spots. So like if you make the first one, that's 1 spot.
Okay.
So
Okay.
The most spots I had covered was 15 spots in 2 minutes.
That's pretty impressive. But for those who saw you shoot last year, that's not really that hard to believe, because there were times it felt like every time you or Brandon let one go that it was going in. So, let's grab another question here. This one coming from Justin. You seem to never panic on the court. Do things slow down for you out there?
I say they wouldn't slow down, but I say I put in a lot of work, and when I put in a lot of work, I kind of have a lot of confidence and belief in myself that no matter what situation I'm in, that I always remember the work I put in and just stay calm and be who I am.
Yeah, no, I'm no NBA draft scout or analyst, but the one thing I did notice about your game that I was really impressed with is that defenses can't really speed you up, and that's really a sign of young guards and maybe being nervous. But no defender, no matter how good they were able to speed you up, and you generally got where you wanted to go on the court. Is that something you developed and just part of being a veteran and playing so many minutes, or is that something that you've always had?
I want to say that's something I always had. Just being young and playing a lot of basketball growing up and watching a lot of basketball. That's something I say I learned just through being around the game of basketball.
All right, let's grab another question here. This one coming from Bo. Who do you model your game after?
I say Jalen Brunson from the New York Knicks. He's got similar body type builds, and he's left-handed as well. And I really like how he can just get to where he wants to on the floor, and I really model my game after that.
Is that the favorite part? Like his being able to get where he wants?
Yeah.
What else? What specifically do you like about it?
I like his pace. He never gets sped up. When he's in the paint, he rarely gets a shot blocked because he's always playing off of 2 feet, always using his pivot to create angles to score or create angles to get his teammates wide open shots.
All right, for those that maybe didn't see us in the beginning, if you have any questions or comments for Mark, click on that comment button beneath the video and get your questions in now for Alabama guard Mark Sears. Richard wants to know, how much fun is it to play before your family and friends at Alabama? I see your relatives at all of the games, and if you've seen his mom, he's got like a sequin purse, and she is your biggest fan, no doubt.
It's so much fun, being able to play in front of my family and my friends, especially when I'm hearing that intro and starting lineup, and I hear Muscle Shoals, Alabama. It never gets old when I hear that. It always gives me that energy because I remember when I was a senior and Alabama was one of my dream schools, and just being able to fulfill that dream, it's a blessing.
256. I got to keep saying that. So the Muscle Shoals kid came in here and dominating. I love it. Let's grab another question here. If you could play on a dream team of NBA legends, who would you choose?
A dream team of NBA legends. That's a good question. I'd probably say I want to play on the Chicago Bulls team. I want to say 95, 96 Bulls team. Mm-hmm. I want to play on that NBA team just to see what Michael Jordan was like in person, because I hear a lot of good and bad stories
Right.
about Michael Jordan. So
So
I want to be able to experience that.
who else would fill out your team? Is that just
Oh,
the Bulls?
It'd probably be MJ, Shaq, Kobe, LeBron James.
That's some heavy hitters, Mark.
Yeah, probably Kevin Durant.
All right. Now, did you watch that Jordan thing that came out on Netflix?
Oh yeah, I did. It came out in COVID, so
Yeah,
it came out like once a week, and
that was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
I've watched that thing like 4 times probably.
Yeah.
Because as we were talking, like, you're a basketball player and you know what the Jordan brand is to hoops culture, but Michael Jordan was a bigger than a sports star. He was pop culture during his time. He's taken over because he hasn't played a basketball game in over 20 years, and we're talking about shoes now that we love. And you're sort of a sneakerhead. What's your favorite Jordans that you have?
I like Jordan 1s. They can go with anything. Especially with the colorway they have.
Yep.
If I want to wear some Alabama gear, I'd be able to throw on any type of Jordan 1 with that fit.
Yeah, I've been beating the drum behind the scenes to make Alabama a Jordan school, but
that would be really nice.
yeah, Florida is wearing the mantle in the SEC. I don't know if they're allowing more than one Jordan school per league, but if you had to guess, how many pair of Jordans do you own?
I probably own I want to say 15 pairs.
Okay.
15 pairs.
I'm probably close if you throw in the Jordan golf sneakers I have, the golf shoes. So you like the ones. Obviously, I think my favorites are the 3s.
Mm-hmm.
I know everyone's really hot on the 4s right now. Everyone likes the 4s, but you can't go wrong with the 1s. I think.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, I also like the 3s too. The 3s.
Yeah. I got the Carolina colorway. They re-released a couple years ago for my birthday. It was a dream gift. Let's grab another question here. This one coming from James. What are your thoughts on the newcomers to the team so far?
We're very talented. I say, I think we're very deep, just like last year. I think they're going to be very exciting to watch too, as well. So, looking forward to competing with those guys.
Yeah, what's your advice to new guys on the team? Because I don't know what your role was last year. It may have been difficult for you to speak up and sort of assume a leadership position because you were new yourself. But what do you tell the new guys when they're coming into a talented group about them finding their way and about patience and about the things that you have to do to be a successful Alabama basketball player?
I say just be yourself and be what got you here, because if you wasn't able to do what you was capable of doing, you probably wouldn't be in the situation that you are now. So I just say, just be who you are.
All right. Let's see. Do we have any more questions here? Andrew K _2002. Who's given you the most trouble when defending you in practice?
Who's giving you the most trouble? That's a good one. I'll probably go off of last year's squad or this year's squad.
Let's go this year's squad from what you've seen so far.
Okay. That's a tough question, but I probably would say Latrell Wrightsell, because he's a thicker guard is like me, so I say Latrell.
So just a big, strong guy.
Big, strong, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard his name a lot. I can't wait to see him play.
Yeah.
Hey, we it's closed to the media, but we hear a lot sometimes about these closed or secret scrimmages. How much do you guys learn from opportunities like that about your team? Because last year it got leaked out that TCU handled you guys pretty good, and everyone's freaking out about how good Alabama's going to be. And then lo and behold, you guys end up being the number 1 seed in the tournament. So is the importance of that over-stressed or over-emphasized, or how important do you think stuff like that is before the season starts?
I think stuff like that's very important, because we get the chance to see how we are when we compete against somebody else. And I think when we compete against TCU we didn't have the outcome we wanted, but we learned a lot from that film, and we really got after it because in our minds, we thought that it was pretty good, but we got humbled, I'd say, and that's what the scrimmages can do for you.
It's a great answer. We're talking to Mark Sears, Alabama guard. Let's grab another question. Pete wants to know, Mark, you have been at both the 1 and the 2. Which do you prefer?
I prefer the 1.
Why is that? Because the ball's in your hand more?
I say that's my natural position. I always been a 1. I just I can score the ball very well for a 1. That's why I say.
Okay. There you go, Pete. He answered that one for you. Let's go to Will. What is your favorite spot on the floor to shoot from?
Favorite spot? I would say the top of the right wing. The right wing.
Right wing.
So I like to dribble pull up on the right side.
I love that shot. I love the confidence you attack it with, and especially when you may not have numbers and you'll pull it. I just love the confidence it signals to the team. All right, let's grab another question here. This one coming from Chris. Would you rather finish at the rim for an and 1 or knock down an open 3?
Probably that's a good one right there. I'll probably do a finish at the rim for an and 1 because they probably get the crowd on their feet the most. I would say an and 1.
Yeah. I think that comeback against Auburn, I don't know if it was an and 1, but you had a finish at the rim in a very key moment that either kept Alabama close or put them ahead. I can't remember.
Yeah.
All right, let's grab another question here. This is coming from Bo. Who is the best basketball player on the coaching staff, and who's the best shooter on the staff?
Wow, that's a great question. We got a great. Who's the best basketball player on the coach? Oh, Coach Murphy. I would say the best basketball player on the coaching staff is Coach Murphy. He played at Rhode Island, and he's still trying to take us on in practice sometimes. He'll try to call us out on a shooting workout or try to play ones, but he still thinks he can take us on.
All right. Is he a good talker? Can he talk?
Yeah, he can. Yeah, he can talk. Yeah, he know how to talk.
Hey, do we have obviously we've had Javon Quinterly who's since transferred, but he's been on the half-hour huddle before. We had a great time talking with him. And obviously he's sort of known for his trash talking. I think he got a technical last year for trash talking. Is anybody as good as him on this year's team that can talk a little bit?
Nah, not as good as he was because he could get up underneath the opponent's skin without even saying anything. But
he could get under an entire fan base's skin. I still think the entire University at Auburn is upset with him for throwing that ball off the player in the game. And as you mentioned, he's just got that quality about him. It's easy. You probably love him if he's on your team, but you probably hate him if he's on he's on another team, right?
Right.
All right. We got another question here. This one from at Brody Smoot. Who's the better facilitator, Aaron Estrada or Javon Quinterly?
That's a great question. I say they're both really good facilitators, but I'm just not getting used to playing with Aaron and haven't really been in a full game with him to really see his facilitating ability. But so I would say Quinterly, JQ.
Where would you put yourself in those rankings?
Obviously, I'll go myself first, just out of confidence.
I like it. All right. Let's see. Any more questions here? I think we got some more. This one from Josh. Oh, here we go. If Coach Nate Oates took 100 threes, how many does he make?
40.
40% shooter from the three. Okay.
Out of 100 threes, yeah, probably around 40 or 35. Yeah.
So you guys do a lot of drills. Obviously, the three-pointer is a huge in the way that Coach Oates teaches his system. When does a player know that they have the green light? And there are guys that, because he wants you taking threes, right? And he's not going to put you in the game if he doesn't think you're out there. But there are certain guys that don't have the green light to shoot an open three, or is that something that has to be earned with Coach Oates?
Yeah, that's something that has to be really earned, because once you see it every day in practice and sees that you're capable of making those tough shots, and he'll really just, he really never says anything about a contested three or anything, but he kind of does give everybody that green light.
Okay.
He'll never say anything if you make a tough contested shot.
Right. All right, we got some more questions here. We're gonna get through them real quick and get you out of here. This is coming from Jimmy. Aside from the fact that for coaches especially, the next game is always the most important game, are there any games in or out of conference that you look forward to this year?
I'd say in conference, I'd probably say Purdue, because they pretty much had their whole team coming back, and I look forward to going up against those guys. And then then SEC play.
Yeah,
I'd probably say Tennessee.
Yeah,
because that's the team that last year that we really wanted to see again.
Yeah,
we really want to see them.
All right, that's a good answer. Also, Jimmy wants to know: would you be in favor of a summer league or being able to play other teams over the summer?
I'd probably say play other teams in the summer.
You would be in favor of that?
Yeah, I'd be in favor of that.
Is it because like what you talked about, just the opportunity to see where the mistakes are to get better as a team, like last year versus TCU?
Yeah, we'll be able to go and watch film and see what we can improve on.
Yeah. All right, we got one more question here. This is coming from Bama fan 1815. Use your best judgment here, but what's the best Coach Oates stories that you can share? Don't get yourself in trouble, but give us something that you can share.
Wow, that's a great one. He has a bunch that I say. Probably like when we was getting ready to go in the tournament, we was the number 1 seed. Or no, we wasn't the number 1 seed yet, but like getting ready for the SEC tournament. He compared it to like fight camp. He would say when fighters get ready to when they're getting ready to fight, have a big fight, they'll go in like boot camp or something like that.
Yeah, training camp.
Yeah, do a training camp type of deal. And he really, when we got down the stretch in the clutch, we really practiced boot camp style. Everything, our lives depended on it, and every play depended on it. And I say that's probably one of the best stories he told us, because he would show us videos, motivational videos. He'll show us Mike Tyson, just telling how his mindset was in the fight camp. So I'd say really that was probably one of the coolest stories. Does
Coach Oates have any sayings that he says a lot to the point where you guys sort of make fun of him or imitate him? I mean, all these coaches, I've talked to football players and other sports, and they always say that the coaches have phrases that they say over and over again. Does Coach Oates have a phrase that's sort of unique to him?
He kind of, I don't really think he does, but he says some things that we kind of, as a team, we kind of think we kind of agree on, I say.
Okay. All right, Mark. Well, thanks for joining us. Thanks for taking 30 minutes out of your day. We know how busy you are, taking 15 hours. Again, from the 256 from Muscle Shoals, Alabama, Mark Sears. Thanks for joining us, bud.
Thanks.
Just a really enjoyable half-hour huddle with Mark Sears. If this is your first time checking out half-hour huddle, we do this every week. We feature a different student athlete at the University of Alabama to try to peel back the curtain a little bit on who they are as people and behind the sports or the competition field or the helmet or the uniform. Their opportunity to show you who they are and why NIL is so important to enhance their opportunities as student athletes at the University of Alabama. If you haven't already, check us out at Yay Alabama. You can just Google it, yay-alabama.com. There's different levels of membership that you can join to help us hit our goals of doing just that, of enhancing the student athletes experience here at the University of Alabama. We are doing a student giveaway, a student membership giveaway. It's on our socials. Make sure you're following us. We're on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. You can see all that. We're giving away a pretty sweet Yay Alabama rope hat that if you want some game day swag for this year's Alabama games that no one else has, that's a pretty good place to start. And you can find all that at our merch shop as well on the website. Thanks again to Mark Sears for joining us, and we will catch you guys next week on Half Hour Huddle.